What is up, everyone? I am Joe the Hoyos. I am host of Beyond the Woodline. Real quick before we get started, as you guys probably know already, I am a member of the JRG, which stands for the Jevning Research Group, headed up and founded by Mr. William Jevning, which is a great guy. He's had, man, I bet 50 years of experience in the Bigfoot community, in the Bigfoot world at this point. He was friends with Renee DeHenden and John Green, which were two of the original pioneers in the Bigfoot world. Um, so I'm part of his group, and then we have teams in Florida, Louisiana, Michigan, New York State, Oregon, Washington, California, I believe New Mexico now, and Oklahoma, and there's probably Missouri, and of course here in Texas, and I'm sure I'm missing a state or two. So if you guys are interested in helping out with this search for this elusive creature, hit me up. We'd love to have you on a team. We will vet you. We don't want any crazies. Unfortunately, there are crazy people out there, so we try to watch out for that. And if we pair you up with anyone, we vet you. We vet those people also. Um, but for the most part, I think everyone on our team, man, we all get along. We're great people. I've talked to many of them one on one several times. Really good people. If you're in a state and we don't have a team, we network with other people, so we would know somebody in every state. And if you can't get out into the field, don't worry about it. I don't go out in the field in the summertime here in Texas just because it's so doggone hot, and I don't like ticks, so I stay out of the field in the summertime. Uh, so you can do your research from your computer, your laptop, your cell phone. You can find witnesses for us. You can find locations for us. You can, if you have techniques you want to suggest that we use, we will certainly take that into consideration. So once again, if you're interested, hit me up, uh, beyond.woodline@gmail.com. And of course, as always, I know you guys don't tune in to hear me rattle off at the mouth. I have with me Till Death Investigations with Dave, middle
TJ.
name, TJ. I was going to say CJ.
Yeah, pretty
CJ,
close.
yeah. And then
Nikki.
Nikki. I was going to say Vicky. Jeez. Okay. Well, how
Well,
you
it's
guys
good to
doing, man?
have.
I do appreciate you guys joining the show, man.
Well,
Absolutely.
thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, thanks a lot. I do appreciate that. I know it's a little bit later where you guys are at, so again, I do appreciate that. So if you guys don't mind, real quick, why don't you guys introduce yourself and we'll kind of go down the line and we'll start with Dave and tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what got you started into this crazy world.
Well, I'm Dave Patrick, and I'm the lead investigator and the host of our YouTube series that we've had for the past few years now, um, by the same name, Till Death Investigations. Uh, I got interested in the paranormal, like any other kid back in the day. But recently, actually, there was a couple of things that got me to be in the drive of it. One was my wife, Linda Marshall, who's also our executive producer. She got me, uh, the little boost. She's like, "Listen, let's go ghost hunting and find some really cool places and all that jazz." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then I had a death, um, uh, with a close coworker of mine who was like a brother to me, and he just, you know, unanswered questions, and I was like, you know what, um, why not look for the answers? So I talked to my best friend for over 30 plus
30,
years here.
35, 35.
35?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So 35 years of friendship.
Yeah.
I went up to him like, hey man, I'm thinking about putting together this YouTube channel for ghost hunting. I mean, of course, there's like many out there, but I was like, what do you think? I'm not looking for anything special with the channel or anything. And he's like, well, yeah, man, I'm cool. And of course, Nikki, his wife here, um, she can tell you all about herself. And, it was like we all just started it and it clicked. And then we had some more cast members, Ed and Amber, and
Kim and Chris.
Kimmy and Chris was last season that we did. And it just built and built and built. And now we're working on our first film.
Oh, nice.
But that's it. That's it for me. I'm going to let you guys talk now.
All right. Well, I'm TJ. Like he said, we've been friends for the past 35 years, and I think the first real encounter we had with the paranormal was in his basement when we were like 15 or 16. He's like, "Hey, I got this Ouija board. You want to go check it out?" I was like, "Oh, sure, why not?" But I was super skeptical back then.
I was stupid.
But we get down in the basement, and he's taking it super serious, and I'm like, "Oh, it's moving, oh, what are we gonna do?" So he got kind of angry about it because I was messing around, and it didn't hurt our friendship or anything. It was just funny to me. But I've had a lot of things happen that are unexplainable. I've dealt with sleep paralysis before I knew it was sleep paralysis, and I've had strange encounters like vivid, almost premonition type dreams every once in a while. And I don't really get that stuff anymore. It happened more so when I was younger, like into my late teen years, like early 20s. I'm sitting here 40 years old now, and I'm glad I don't get the sleep paralysis anymore, but I just wake up stiff now, so bones are hurting.
I think that's age.
Yeah. But yeah, I had some weird stuff happen in my youth that got me interested in a little bit more of the paranormal aspect. And I've never really done any major research into it, but I've read some articles on how to deal with sleep paralysis. So instead of fighting the demons, so to speak, I just kind of let it push me farther into sleep. So there's a fine line between REM sleep and starting to dream and everything else. So what I do is I just kind of let it attack me, so to speak, and just like push me right through my pillow and straight into dreaming. And it's gotten to the point now with my dreaming where I'm able to do lucid dreaming, so I can dream walk sometimes. Like I don't go to anybody else's house because that just seems weird to me, but like I can walk around my own house in my dreams and know when I'm dreaming, so I don't have to worry about what happens in the dreams.
That wasn't you in my doorway in my house,
think so.
right? All right, good. All right, just making sure.
I tend not to go anywhere else.
I hope not.
But yeah, there's been a few things that's happened in my past that got me really interested in it. So when he came along and asked me, he's like, "Hey, I need a cameraman." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, man." And because we've been friends for so long, I wasn't going to tell him no. Like that's weird, So yeah, it's grown into what we have now, and it's been really, really fun. Getting out there, meeting all these new people, getting these new experiences, and
locations.
Yeah, and these locations that we're visiting. Some of these things we don't all get some kind of experience, but I feel like I'm a little sensitive to some of this stuff, and I get touched a lot, like tickles around my ankles and stuff, and I wear shorts on purpose so that I know if anything's touching me. It's not just my pants rubbing against my furry legs or something like that, So, but I've had scratches and hair pulled and wisps of wind floating through the air. So just a lot of experiences that brought me to where I am. But yeah, so I don't want to ramble on anymore either. I'll let you get a chance to talk.
Hey, trust me, you can talk for the whole hour. I'll go get some coffee and I'll come back.
It might happen. I have a tendency.
You can make a whole show for him.
Probably.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's really good at that.
So I'll turn you over to Nikki, my wife here, and let her tell you a little bit.
Yeah, that's my name, not Nikki. So yeah, I'm Nikki. I just got kind of pulled into this.
Mhm.
But I've always
You
enjoyed.
sound like a hostage situation.
No, I mean when he asked.
He's doing this in the background.
Yeah. Smile away.
When you asked TJ,
Yeah.
I mean, I overheard the conversation. I'm like, I want to join.
Exactly. So definitely not a hostage situation.
But I've always had a fascination with like abandoned buildings and stuff, and going and exploring those. So this was kind of right up my alley. I have always believed in, different things, weird things. So I was just, I was happy to be along for the ride and, meeting new people and having the experiences and whatnot. But I don't have any, other than just coming in and learn how to work a camera and whatnot.
Right.
That's it. But
Right.
yeah, it's nice. I just like taking pictures and stuff.
Which I do give Nikki a lot of credit for, especially when we do our post-credit scenes with our episodes, phenomenal pictures. Phenomenal pictures.
Here's my space phone.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it would have been great if we had the rest of our crew here too to join in on it, but there's 8 people and there's no way we're gonna cram them into our tiny little kitchen.
Yeah.
But Ed and Amber, they I worked with Ed at the New York State Vets Home in Oxford. We both work in dietary there, and I was telling him about it one day about, my buddy asked me to be the cameraman for this ghost hunting show, and he's like, oh yeah, my wife and I are really into that kind of stuff too. So I'm like, yeah, if we have a bigger investigation, we need some more help. Are you interested? And they're like, yo, for sure. So we brought them in to do one of our investigations in our first season, and they've been with us ever since. So yeah, it's been a trip with all the people, because we all come from different backgrounds, and it's cool that we have this unity, bringing us all together.
Right.
And especially with when we first investigated all together at the Columbus Public House.
Yeah.
It was an instant click. We all got along like that. And as much as I was, when it came to editing, I felt bad for Ed and Amber. They didn't really get anything.
Yeah, it was their first investigation, and it kind of they didn't stand out in the limelight because a lot of the stuff that we captured that night just wasn't captured by them.
Yeah.
Right.
But they are in other videos.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to see who Ed and Amber are, go watch some of the first season
and the second season.
Yeah, the second season. Yeah, they've been with us pretty much since the start too. Like 1 or 2 episodes in.
Sweet.
But yeah.
But yeah, that happens, right? Where you go out sometimes and you just don't get anything. It's just.
Oh yeah, we've had dead air nights where we're just literally sitting there talking to the air, getting no responses at all. Nothing's going off. Just
right. Yeah.
Plenty of times when I've sat there and I do all the research. And I'm the only one that goes in and knows all the research. And I'm like, I'm going to talk to them about this. And then I get nothing. And he goes through and he goes, you got lost.
Exactly. So don't let her be like, oh, yeah, I'm just talking to myself. I mean, we got, we've been very fortunate with EVPs, electronic voice phenomenons, where we get these recordings. And I mean, like, it's been every investigation that we go on, we at least get at least 2.
Yeah.
Which was... like the one that I was so excited about was the Oxford Library.
Yeah.
Going through the whole investigation, and I'm trying to make contact with now Theodore Burr. He was the original owner of this house, and he was actually the cousin of Aaron Burr. The whole thing with Hamilton, and what happened was this guy was an engineer. He built these arch
bridges, the Burr Bridge.
The Burr Truss Bridge.
Yeah.
And there's only like a very few of them left in the United States now.
13 or something.
I think 3.
3?
Yeah. It's very, very slim. Because what happened was, I mean, the poor guy, everything just started going downhill for him. I mean, he lost both of his daughters. One daughter drowned right behind the house in the river. But when we were making contact, we were there a few times, because that was, the library is actually one of our favorite places. I mean, and the thing is, though, my wife was the one that was like, hey, maybe you guys should check out the library. I'm like, well, why do you say that? It's a library. And, my wife doesn't give herself credit, but, she's kind of sensitive, and we had amazing results. But the best result was actually when we had the EVP with Nikki in the one sitting room, And you know, like she said, she's like thinking that she's just talking to air, but she asks, "Are you Theodore Burr?" You know, and all of a sudden, this EVP, clear as day, Theodore. You know, and that's like a gold mine confirmation, intelligent response too.
Yeah.
You know,
I was pretty happy about that one.
so I mean, the evidence that we collect is very good. You know,
And it's authentic. Like we don't go in there trying to force anything out. You know, we don't set up a stage for our internet show.
Mhm.
You know, we don't go in there and like, oh, let's flicker some lights just to dramatic effect. You know, it's
Right.
raw, it's uncut in the moment of what we're actually doing. Like what we see and investigate is what you see and get on the show. You know, we're not into the tricks and that kind of stuff to get publicity or views. We're just in it for the research and the fun behind it.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that keeping it light and keeping it fun and doing it for the right reasons is one of the reasons why I do what I do too. Within the Bigfoot world, I try not to take it too serious, and I try not to, you know, um, come off as, hey, this is how you do it, because everybody has their own way of doing stuff.
yeah. I'd be honestly, Joe, I'd be running the opposite way when it comes to like any cryptids. So
See,
I'm good.
I wouldn't.
Good. You guys can. You guys
I
can do
wouldn't
your
run.
thing.
I'd stand there and be like, "What's up?"
Yeah. We had man, this has probably been about a month already. Yeah, it was right at the end of February. I had a team from Canada come down, and I spent some time with them, or they spent some time with me down here in Texas. And we went to a couple of spots in the San Eastern Forest, which is where I do my research. And man, it was pretty good. We got some pretty good vocals. We heard some movement, and uh, we heard a couple wood knocks, so that was pretty cool. And I mean, they stood the ground, and they were right there with me the whole time. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, man. And they're a paranormal team, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're a lot braver than me.
Yeah, we actually had another investigation in our first season. Yeah, Pink Hill.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually revisited that because we had
3 times.
another story for that same location, which may or may not have been the actual story. So we investigated one thing and then got new information and reinvestigated it. But upon that second investigation, we had a bigger crew and we had split our team up. And we were probably a half a mile away from each other. And from our point of view, Nikki and I, we could hear coyotes howling in their direction. And then they said they never heard any coyotes, but they heard something in our direction that we had not heard.
We heard you guys over the radio.
Yeah, they heard us over the radio and we weren't talking.
Oh wow.
So it was only a half a mile distance apart. So that was strange but fun at the same time.
Right.
I'm glad you were having a good time.
Yeah, I was having a good time. We were in the middle
You
of the
didn't
woods.
even come look for us.
We were in the
bro.
middle of the woods. She and I were sitting in the cemetery, and they were at this homestead. It looked like a house had fallen in, so it was just the foundation rubble. But they were all down there sitting by the house, and we were sitting in the middle of a cemetery, and we both heard things from the either direction, but we didn't hear it.
It's okay. We're alive. We're fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We were safe. We were prepared. Like,
No, you were prepared.
I was prepared. I was the weapons cache.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's been your favorite place to go investigate as a team?
I don't know, because we've been to so many places. I think we all kind of have a favorite location in mind.
Yeah.
But in Norwich, one of the biggest ones for me that's memorable is the Council of the Arts building. There's a part in there where I'm sitting in the auditorium front row, and we're using an SLS camera which tracks body movement and stuff like that. So I'm sitting there by myself, and Dave's holding this SLS camera pointed at me, and it maps your body and it assigns like stick figures to your joints, so you can move around in stick figure form. And I was sitting there stationary and still, so I was mapped in, and then you could see the outline of two other beings, entities, whatever you want to call it, but you could see these stick figures, and they were just crawling on top of me and underneath me and all around me.
Very creepy.
And I was what,
That was very
10
creepy.
or 15 minutes, I think I just sat there. But afterwards, I felt really lightheaded. My stomach was upset, and my abs were just really, really tight. And I had to excuse myself out of the building and get some fresh air and just kind of take like a 20-minute break just to calm down. And so that one really stood out. And then there was another episode down in near Roscoe, New York.
Oh,
We were
the
bridge.
bridge?
yeah, the bridge. We were investigating.
Stoner?
Yeah,
Stoner Bridge.
yeah, we're investigating that, and there was a murder after a fight, and we do this. The Estes method, right?
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Where it's I'm blindfolded and I have headphones on, so I can't hear anything, and I'm listening to a radio in reverse at high rate of speed.
Or forward.
Or forward, whichever. But in this case, it was in reverse, and everybody else is sitting around me asking me questions, and I respond to those questions if I hear something over the radio. But the whole time, like, I was getting really angry. Like, I wanted to fight. Like, I've never been angry on an investigation before, but this one just had my blood boiling. Like, I was ready to rumble, throw hands with anybody.
You were ready to, like, get off that chair.
Yeah, I had to end it myself before I got too angry, and I just walked away, and I was fine after it. But that one stuck out in my mind.
Which I would like to add that a lot of times when we do this Estes method experiment, and especially with a lot of the investigations that we've done recently and onwards, I always have TJ do it because, like you said, you're very sensitive. Not like that, but
Yeah,
not like that.
I got you.
But like we had the best results. You know, no offense to my other crew members, I love you guys. But whenever we have TJ, I mean, it's really like spot on back to back answers where, you know, there's actual intelligent communication with the spirit.
Yeah, I don't know what makes me so popular in this regard, but like I don't know. It takes back, like I said before, you know, in my childhood, I dealt with a lot of unexplainable things, and kind of like the movie Poltergeist, you know,
They're here.
they were sort of like I fell asleep. My dad was telling me the story. I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 maybe, and I fell asleep in the living room, and the TV was on. So we come out, he turned the TV off, and then when he went back to bed, he could hear the TV turn back on, but it was just white noise, static, and I was laying on the floor, had not moved at all. So he turned the TV off, and then he went back into his bedroom again, and it happened again. TV turned on by itself. He came out thinking that I was messing with him. So he stood there watching me, and he's like, "You didn't move at all." It was really, really strange because you were laying in the same exact position the whole time, and that TV turned on twice after he turned it off the initial time, and the second 2 times it was all white noise. So I take that and some of the other stuff I dealt with sleep paralysis. Like, I don't know if I was like fighting off demons, but I had a growling match with something that was at the foot of my bed one time. I couldn't move, but I felt like I was making noise, but something was standing at the edge of my bed, and it would make these short, loud growls. And my only defense was to growl back to make myself sound bigger than whatever it was. You know, so I don't know. It growled, I growled, it growled, I growled back. And then finally I snapped out of it, jumped up, turned the light on. And of course there was nothing there.
No chihuahua.
You know, no chihuahua,
No
nothing,
chihuahua.
you know. So like, it's just strange stuff like that. And then there was another time, same thing. I was laying on my right side and something was trying to push me onto my back. Like I felt a hand on my shoulder trying to push me over. And I was fighting for all I was worth, just trying not to let it push me. And eventually it either gave up or I was too strong for it or something. But when I woke up, I had an imprint of a hand on my shoulder. Nobody believes me, but it was there. I know, but
I believe you.
you know.
I
So
believe you.
like strange stuff like that. So I don't know if maybe I'm attractive to these spirits. I don't know, but like I don't view myself as very spiritual or anything, but like I'm open-minded to a lot of things. So I think that might be a lot of the reason why I feel like I'm good at that kind of thing. Like, you know, I'm in touch with the spirit realm almost, but I don't know. It works. So we do it.
So
Honestly,
Barbara has a question for you guys. She says, anyone ever worry about paranormal attachments? Have you guys ever worried about that?
Every friggin' time.
She does a lot of times. I'm not so worried about it.
I'm more worried about, and it started happening, especially after the Sherwood Hotel. Driving home after investigating there, and actually quite a few other times, it's like you're driving down a road and you kind of like just like nonchalantly look up into the rearview mirror, and you swear to God you see an outline of a head or some form in the back seat of your car. That I would say is the most terrifying attachment that I've experienced, especially after the Sherwood Hotel.
See, I don't really have any. I'm not afraid of anything attaching to me, so long as it's not, you know, horrible. You know, like I don't want it to throw things at me, but if it's just standing in the corner, like, nah, come on in, you know. Like I don't worry about that kind of stuff.
So, like, do you guys do anything to protect yourselves, whether you're going into or leaving a location?
Well, it depends on if
Yeah.
we get crew up with another investigating team who like they are full on, like they got the sage, they got the
And they get
holy
crystals and all kinds
water,
of things. Yeah.
crystals, you know, which is a blessing. I mean, we've had Dream Seekers Paranormal, Bob and Cindy and their crew. We've had Phantom Visions Paranormal and their crew, and you know, it's nice. Yeah, we actually have that kind of like unity
Well, yeah.
where people are like, "Hey, let me sage you." I'm like, "Okay, I'll smell weird going home, but that's okay."
Yeah, and I used to where I work, I used to have a woman that worked there. She was a practicing witch, and when we moved into our current house, she came in, and a couple days later, she told me that she had, you know, walked around, blessed our house, and she gave me some trinkets and everything. She said that she left a I don't know if you call it a hex bag, but whatever it was, some charm to keep us safe in the house.
Really? Where is it?
I don't know. Yeah, she told me it's somewhere in the house, but she wouldn't tell me. She didn't tell me where it was. I didn't think it was important at the time because I haven't felt anything malevolent. You know, like,
Well, that's good. Maybe it's working.
Yeah, it must be working. You know, she gives me little trinkets and stuff every once in a while, and they're around the house. And like I said, she came in and she did her thing. You know, so I feel fine in my own house. But Nikki, she's had some weird things like, you know, bumps in the wall and stuff like that. And I do hear footsteps, what sounds like footsteps upstairs every once in a while, but it's nothing that frightens me because, I mean, if I'm downstairs in the living room and it's upstairs in the bedroom and I don't see it, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Unless it's running down the stairs at me, I'm not going to freak out, you know.
Don't say anything that's going to get us copyright infringement, okay?
Like what?
You know, due to another high franchise going on right now.
Nah,
You know, we're not going to say those words.
I don't think the words are copyrighted.
Actually, it is.
So, have any of you guys ever been like legit scared?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like no, going back to
not scared.
I will tell you when I was scared. Well, 1890s house in Portland. Now I was doing this Estes method in this one the maid's room, Margaret, and I'm sitting there, and I literally was like hearing this deep guttural voice coming back over the sweeps. You know, this wasn't like, hi, you know, the small little creeps that we get. This was like guttural, you know, and I literally was like, I felt like I was cowering. It felt like I was cowering backward because it felt like it was right in my face, you know. That's the only time I've been scared.
See, I've never had anything like that in my life. Even when I was younger, dealing with the sleep paralysis and stuff, it was never scary to me. It was
If I die, I die.
like I don't feel like I was traumatized or anything. Like it was weird, but I didn't feel like I was in danger because I always fought back. You know, I think that's my fight or flight response is, well, I'm probably bigger than whatever it is that's attacking me, so I'll be okay. You know, like I get a little cocky in it sometimes.
A little bit.
What about you, Nikki? Have you ever been scared?
I mean, yeah, there's been a few times, but like recently we were doing our film, and it was like the first day on set,
Oh yeah.
and we were touching some stuff, moving a few things, and I heard "Stop it."
Well, we weren't touching things.
No,
we had
they
to
weren't.
rearrange
We had
to
to move some
for
stuff.
the
Well,
film,
yeah,
you know,
but
'cause
they
it's-
said "Stop it." Somebody
Yeah.
said "Stop it," and I
yeah,
asked
which we thought
everybody.
was actually Ed and Amber's sons.
Yeah,
Uh,
and,
you know, young great gentlemen, and they are you know well behaved. And one of them is actually one of the actors, Garrick, and you know, you said that like they weren't even in the same vicinity.
yeah, they were. They were over by the wall, like touching a lamp or something,
Right.
and I heard "Stop it," and
Yeah.
so I looked around. And I was like, Ed, did you say that? Amber, did you say that? Did the boys say that? They're like, no, we didn't say that. But did anybody say stop it? And you're like, no. And I'm like, all right, well then somebody doesn't want you touching that lamp. So
Don't touch the lamp.
Well, you know, all things considering, stop is not that bad. They could have said a lot
no,
more.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. Yeah.
No. That's it.
So,
I mean, I can't recall anything right on the spot right now.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, we can talk about other stuff too, not just things that we've investigated. Like, have you ever felt that way here?
Yeah, I hate this place.
See, I'm fine with it. Like,
I hate this
I don't
place.
mind.
We weren't here that long. We were here for what, 2 months maybe? And I was folding laundry in the living room, and our bedroom is above the kitchen here. And I heard footsteps, just one right after another. And I just froze, and I just looked up at the ceiling like, who's that?
See, I've heard those. It's the same thing. It's a pattern. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can distinctly hear like left, right, left, right.
Yeah.
But it's
You hear
it's,
that weight.
Yeah,
And
it's like
I-
someone's up there just.
I texted him, and he's like, it's probably just the house settling. And I'm like, seriously right now? I guess I'm not leaving this couch until you get home.
You know what was funny about that? I think that was the same day I was talking to some of my coworkers,
Oh, yeah.
and the woman I was just talking about, she was like, "Oh, you probably have sprites in your house." So she sprites
Yeah.
like fairies and
Oh.
sprites. So she's like, you should get some like fairy houses and stuff like that. So she went out, she bought a little like mushroom cabin and like a little pond, like ceramic pond. And I kind of, I'm not a huge collector, but I have a bunch of like Matchboxes and like Hot Wheels and stuff. And I had a duplicate,
gave
so
the
I
fairy
gave
card?
the fairies the Koenigsegg, so they can get around, you know. And we would leave little pieces of candy and stuff as offerings. Like, hey, please don't mess around with our house.
Maybe that's why I don't like this place. I haven't given them gifts in a while.
Yeah, I don't even know where our houses are.
Give him a condo. Give him Barbie's house.
there you
Yeah,
go.
I can't fit Barbie's house in this house.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
But- yeah. Like I've never really been scared of any of that stuff, but no.
So, what
All right.
locations?
Was that John?
What locations do you have coming up?
So currently we're like I mentioned before, we're working on a film. But honestly, after we're done filming this film, I ain't filming another film for a while. I would love to disclose the location tonight for you guys, but unfortunately, we're still in mid-production, and we have a very special guest that's actually going to be joining us here in another few months. Post the production, what it's going to be is it's actually going to be a film where we're actually having live action acting combined with results of our investigations at this location. I almost slipped up there. I almost slipped up. But so it's going to be a good combination. It's a docufilm, I guess.
Okay.
And it's going to build up with what actually happened to one of these spirits that we've made contact with.
Or so we suspect.
That we suspect. I'm sorry.
From our investigation.
From our
findings.
investigations, that we've what we've figured out from what we've made communications with. But with the medium, we're hoping that she can bring more connecting value, also confirmation if we were actually correct with what our theory is.
Mm-hmm.
But after this whole thing, we're hoping of going back to making episodes and series, back to the series.
Yeah, I mean we all have day jobs also, so it's at this point it's I don't want to say just a hobby, because we all really enjoy doing it, but we're not looking for monetary gain anywhere. We don't ask for money, and if somebody wants us, somebody wants us to privately investigate their house or something, we don't ask for any compensation for it. We're just there to help out, ease their mind, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we I don't know. We haven't been doing it for a while because Dave and his wife Mindy they welcomed their first child about a year and a half ago, right? Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
So
Godfather too, by the way. So you just messed up already.
Some of the filming has taken a back seat to that, obviously.
Yeah.
Well,
that was
precedence.
That was due to personal reasons last season.
Yeah, but I mean, it's understandable, but we're all still a crew. We all still talk to each other, and
right.
Once it gets back into the game, we'll all be right back there, having a good old time, just like always.
Yeah. Which I do miss. I miss the investigating, because, like you said, with the filming right now, it's just been like, I feel horrible sometimes. It's like we're set this schedule. Let's get this boom, 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 boom. We have a great cast and crew. I really, I'm very fortunate.
Everybody's
where we're all down packed. We get it done. We're not even behind schedule, which is great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
As long as we don't have any more disturbances while we're filming, which is kind of like what I was going to go with. It actually does feel like, there was stories of The Conjuring when they were making the Conjuring films. Mia Farrow and Luke Wilson. Was it Luke Wilson? Well, one of the Wilsons.
I didn't watch them.
They were saying that when they were portraying Ed and Lorraine Warren, they were having some things happen after they got done filming, or even while they were on set filming, not even connected to the Conjuring house in Rhode Island. This was filmed down in Georgia, I think. But now it's like we're seeing this firsthand, where we're having audible voices while filming. Sam got scratched. One of our actresses got scratched our last filming day. So it's like, all right, as long as we're going to make peace with the spirits the next film date, be like, hey, listen, we're not here to cause any, rifts or anything. We're not here to.
No malice.
Malice. Thank you. I don't do well with big words. That's why I have editors and writers. With actually being like, hey, we're here to tell a story. We're here to tell a story, but it doesn't have to be true unless you want to tell us it's true. but the main characters, of this story, one is based on a possible real person. But the actual main character, the protagonist, it's it's her story. So we're hoping that we're right. We'll have more results in when we have our medium Anna when she comes up from Virginia. So
Virginia?
Virginia.
Oh, so it was Jersey.
No. Her family's from there.
Oh,
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Have
Yeah,
you guys been to the Hinsdale house?
No, that is on our bucket list. It is. It really is.
yeah. I was just about to
wasn't
say.
kidding what you
I
guys
was just
said.
about to say when we all started pretty local, so we kept it right around our hometown. For the first season, I don't think we traveled much without, like maybe 30 miles.
No, I mean Roscoe.
Well,
Roscoe was the
that was
longest
second
that we went
season,
to.
though. I'm talking first season when we
Oh,
first started.
season, no, it
going.
was all over.
I think
But-
everything was within 30 miles. I think the farthest we went to was maybe Binghamton, which is about 40 miles south of where we live.
Which, by the way, for our local followers and fans, honestly, we didn't even know that a lot of these locations that we went to
Yeah.
locally were actually haunted. We were just going by like, oh yeah, this is what I heard. This is what I heard. Well, yeah, our small little county that we
Yeah.
have lived and grew up in, it's pretty haunted.
Yeah, it's funny to find out these like little local legends and stuff. And you grew up in the place, 40 years now, and you're still finding out new stuff about your community.
It's for
Yeah.
my age.
Well, I'm the same age, so
Well, I didn't grow up here, so all of this is new to me.
Right.
But,
Yeah, you know what? That's true. Even for me, like being here in Houston, right? It's a big city. But where I'm at, my neighborhood, there's actually a couple of cemeteries that I didn't realize that were like pretty popular haunts. Well, pretty popular for people to go and check out. And
Well, that's the
they're-
thing. You can always get results, though, especially with EVPs. I love EVPs.
Mhm.
Try to just talking to the regular,
talk to the air,
No.
see if the air talks back.
yeah,
yeah.
which is really interesting. I'm not a big graveyard person,
I
though.
love graveyards.
Well, you're Wednesday Addams. Um, but like the graveyard is like the last final resting place, and it all depends on your belief system and what you believe in. Like me, I know if I'm like after I go, I'm not sticking around a graveyard. I'm getting out of there, man. That's a lot of creepy
You might
people
not have a
walking around.
choice.
Maybe I do. Obviously, we don't because no. Obviously, we do because obviously we wouldn't be in business right now, guys. With all these other
But I mean,
houses.
you could possibly travel. You pick this spot. This has sentimental value to you, and you have this spot that also means something.
So here's a theory that we can actually put in your guys' head and everybody listening and watching. What about, here's a theory, what happens after we pass away? I wonder if time travel is actually a choice. You know what I mean?
We're not going to find out until.
Not until we get there.
You know what? And I've
Rush everybody
often
to their
wondered
grave.
that too. Yeah, I've often wondered that too. If the spirits that are hanging around still,
Mhm.
if they see everything around them as they did when it was,
Right.
in their time, or do they see it as we do right now?
Yeah, they're like modern, yeah. Yeah, and then depending on if the spirit has or entity or whatever you want to call it has been in the same location, how much did they see change if that's how they go through it, and if they're continuing to learn, they have all this information from years and years and years ago. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a strange thing.
What's the fat cat's name?
Hey, Nikki.
Little bear? Being little.
So Barbara has a question for you, Nikki. She wants to know what the most interesting picture you caught on camera.
The most interesting picture I've caught on camera. No, have I caught anything like paranormal?
Oh,
Did I?
Well, unfortunately, we had to debunk it.
Oh,
Remember Columbus Public House?
yeah, I thought
I mean,
there
it was so well done of how this shadow casts itself.
yeah. We
It looked
thought-
like a old time
gentlemen.
gentleman sitting in the corner of this one room
Yeah,
with a hat, wide brim hat, and you could see like shoulder lines.
it was perfect.
It was
And
perfect. And I
I-
was like, yes, the first freaking investigation we do that we're putting on the waves. And after going back, because I had to go back and I talked to the owner, Edsel. I was like, Edsel, is there any way that I can go back upstairs and just redo this picture that one of my photographers took last night or the other night? I was like, yeah, I don't mind, you know. So I go up there and I'm looking at the picture, the original picture that Nikki took. And I'm like trying to get the right angle. And I took the picture, and it turns out that it was a coffee maker, some
Yeah.
old cans, and
Yeah.
you know, it just was
Just a
like,
whole bunch of
oh
stuff.
man,
Well, you know what? That's good that you did that because that shows how honest you are. You know,
absolutely, you know,
because there are people out there that even if they knew what it was, they would still kind of pass it off as, hey,
Right.
that's what I got. You know, so that's
Yeah.
good that you guys did that. You know.
well, like you know,
Yeah.
we've said, you know,
Like,
we
like to keep it honest, you know, like to keep it
Absolutely.
fair.
But as for catching anything,
I don't think we've actually caught anything on camera.
Yeah, not so much
Amber.
pictures, just
Amber.
mostly
Amber
EVPs and
did.
such.
Amber
Like,
up
we
on
were
Pink
talking-
Hill.
She was talking to a child, wasn't she?
No. When she actually caught a picture of, and I
Oh,
wish we
that
could
makes-
actually make it. We could have made it a little bit more clear for everybody because that night at Pink Hill, the last time we were up there with the
family,
descendants
Yeah.
of the actual factual murder, we were up there and Amber was just like taking random pictures around, and she's more of the investigator, you know, in our group. So she was just taking random pictures, and she got this one picture that looked like a woman in white, sitting behind a tree.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember looking at this, I don't know if you guys saw it when we were there. But when I was standing there, I could actually see it. Like, you guys all have these nice fancy phones. I'm still on an 11 here. But it was so prestige. But when I put it on the editing board to put it into the show and onto YouTube, and it came back, you could see the pixels. You know, and I'm like, oh, this is horrible. So I asked everybody, I'm like, listen, if you see it, can you see it? And let us know, you know, comment below and all that jazz. Nobody replied back.
You know, so we talked about EVPs too. What about some of the other EVPs that you guys have captured?
Oh gosh.
We got. Did we catch anything at Mike and Hunter's house?
At Mike and
There was
Hunter's
a
house.
lot of the
Oh.
Estes method got used a lot at their house. Like there was
Hold on, before I forget. At Mike and Hunter's, we actually got, which I always find interesting too, is the actual EVPs captured on the camera mics.
Right.
You know, where we don't hear it audibly, but the camera mic will pick it up. You know, it's not an actual recorder; it's a camera mic. And I mean, at one of our private investigations, you know, you were doing your Estes method, and we had the name of Josiah. Was it Josiah or Israel?
I don't know. Both of them sound familiar.
Yeah.
Had an at the end of it, but that was audible, and then up on Pink Hill again. I mean, real quick, I never got to say what my favorite place was. Pink Hill, just so you guys know. I love Pink Hill. You stole the show with that.
yeah. Well,
But on Pink Hill though, we actually had, because Amber was doing her. She wasn't provoking. She was trying to get more of the story of the female spirit, and the male entity kept on interfering.
Yeah.
And this male entity actually came over the camera mic close to me and Ed. We were standing back. I had the SLS camera in front of me. Ed's standing right to my left, filming Amber. And all of a sudden you hear over the camera mic, rat-a-tat-tat. And then there was another EVP captured saying, "I'm dead." And I was like, when I was going through the footage afterwards, I'm like, no. And I'm re-listening again, making sure like Ed's not asking what's that or anything close resembling any syllables close to whatever I heard. I heard "I'm dead" and rat-a-tat-tat. But as soon as we heard rat-a-tat-tat, Amber felt a tap on her shoulder, which was like perfect timing. And, like I said, Pink Hill, still one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think that night that he's referring to was the night I was talking about earlier when we were separated. And we heard the coyotes or whatever was howling, and they heard us over the radio, but we didn't say anything. So that was a good one. That was a strange one.
Yeah, and I've had that happen before too. Well, not me personally, but my kids. They were doing an EVP in one of my daughter's rooms, and my two youngest went in there without telling me that they were going to go do an EVP session. But my son, he had the recorder, and he asked, "Is anybody here with us?" And he gets a response, and it says, "Yeah." But my other daughter, she was actually filming while he was talking, while my son was recording, and her phone didn't pick anything up.
Ah.
Yeah, but I mean, she's focused on the recorder that my son has, and of
Right.
course you can hear him ask, "Is anybody here with us?"
Yeah.
But nothing came out
That's,
on the phone, but it came out on the digital recorder.
I would say just be careful when you do investigations in your own home. When you guys were talking about this place, I'm like, ooh, that'd be a good episode. When I was thinking about a title already, I'm like, ooh, when it comes home or something like that. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, maybe we shouldn't do that because one of the beliefs I have is that you shouldn't really investigate your own home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard that, but we did anyway. So
I mean, hey, you guys do you.
It's already done. Damage is done. We're good.
I'm just saying, I'm looking out for these things. If
Yeah,
you guys do want to do a
No.
future episode, no, okay.
and like whatever
When
was
you
there,
sell
it
then
was
you can do an investigation.
whatever was there. That's when I was married. I no longer live in that house. Neither do
Right.
my kids.
Oh, okay.
But my ex still lives there.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
See, that's
nothing
perfect.
nothing bad ever happened in that house. And, whatever it was there that was, it didn't try to scare us intentionally. It was spooky at a couple times, but other than that, there was nothing like trying to
Right.
scare
Okay.
us or anything. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's
Cool. So what else? What other pieces of equipment do you guys like to use?
We have the what's my favorite toy?
all the Atlas.
Yeah.
Atlas.
Okay, yeah.
Which is really cool because it does have many different features on it.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, I just want to look at the words, but actually, it can do true false. It can do tic tac toe.
It
You
can
can
do
play tic tac toe with a ghost if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No,
I think so. Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of features on it, but
I think it was in the Columbus house, like one of our first episodes in the first season. There's a scene in there where Nikki and I are upstairs in this like meeting hall that they have there, and we kept getting like birds and I think it was like
British.
British, and the whole
I just
story.
rewatched that episode.
The whole story behind it, like the words that were coming up on this piece of equipment had a lot to do with the story that's going around. And the meeting room had a huge mural on the wall of an eagle. And as we walked into the room, it said birds, so it kind of tied in. And then in just outside that room, all the wallpaper was covered in birds also. Well, eagles, birds, eagles are birds, But it's just stuff like that. It's kind of cool when you get just supposed to be shooting out these random words, but it coincides with things that are in your area.
Not
You know,
always, but
not always, but a lot of the times it does happen. But for me personally, I don't do any the prior investigation, reading up on it or studying anything because I do the Estes method. Probably 80% of the time when we go to these locations, I'm supposed to be in the dark.
Yeah.
And
I like to
which
keep
makes
you in the
it
dark
which
because
makes
I
it
wanna
really ironically
more-
funny because Nikki, she's the one who does all the research for these locations, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, that sucks. You know, like you can't talk to me about it, you can't ask me any questions, and I'm not supposed to ask you anything either. You know, so it's funny to me, but I like doing that. Like for whatever reason, they like talking to me, so I
You're
have
just
a
a
good time.
lovable guy, man.
Yeah, I'm friendly. I'm friendly.
Yeah, there you
Chatterbox.
go. Well, cool beans, guys. We're coming up towards the end of the show. You guys want to give out your contact information, where to find you guys, your YouTube,
Sure.
and whatever else you want to tell.
You can find us on YouTube on our YouTube channel of Till Death Investigations. Till Death Investigations. We're on all the social media: Facebook, Instagram, Threads. We started doing Threads. We're on Twitter, aka X. TikTok. We're not really doing much on TikTok. I think I just like watching the reels. But that's pretty much it. If you're in the central New York area and you have a location or you're a private residence that would like to have an investigation done, you can always reach out to us at tilddeathinvestigations@yahoo.com, and we can probably set something up in the future. We're always looking for new locations and always trying to help others that want answers. You know, that's pretty much it on my end.
Yeah, we basically just use all those social medias because, like I said, we're not a high profile. You know, we're not a lucrative company, so we don't like we all have our own independent social medias, and if you really wanted to find us, you could. You know, it's open to the public, all of that. So
Unless you're defense.
yeah, I
We
mean,
don't want
whatever. I don't care. I got nothing to hide. I'm an open book.
Well, cool beans, guys. I really do appreciate you coming on. And if you guys aren't members of the Beyond the Woodline fan page, go join. And anything you guys have going on, you can share, you can promote whatever you want to promote. You
Oh
can,
yeah, man!
yeah.
I definitely joined up as soon as you
Yeah.
contacted me. I was like, hell yeah!
yeah.
No.
You guys can. Yeah.
And Joe, you
Okay.
said you had kind of like satellite contacts in the Northeast here also.
Yeah.
Can you have them look into what I was mentioning before the show about
Okay.
that?
Yeah, send me some information about the area, and I'll have to look into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be very cool. I would definitely love to hear more about that if you guys find anything.
Yeah. Yeah, send me the town or the city or whatever it is, and I'll
Absolutely.
have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Well, cool beans, guys, and everyone in the chat. Thanks a lot for your participation. I do appreciate that. I have a show on Sunday. I don't remember what time or who it is. I never know. So if you guys,
Surprise.
yeah, it's a surprise. It's a surprise to me. Well, cool, guys. You guys hold on real quick, and everyone else, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.